Hello guys and welcome back to the market. So today we have a green day. It seems to be a very green day, and we are going to go in the main topic, which is similarities between the cycles. And let's check first my alts. They seem to be going up a little bit. Sonic seems to be the biggest gain of today. So anyway, let's go back. I said back here and analyze a little bit what happened in the last bottoms. And we had very violent moves. Even now, I think this was the real bottom, and I can say with a 95% chance, maybe it's always a tiny chance that we will do something, but I'm 95% sure that this was the bottom. And I would like to show you how it looked in the past and what happened with Bitcoin first of all, and then we should go in Ethereum as well. So we had the last bottom between 8th of November when it entered the bottom range, and I would say 11th of June, 11th of January. So we had should we let's take it with this, since we exited the bottom range about 65 days. Some would argue it's this or this, but about 65 days. So the previous bottom, and I started in crypto, following crypto around here, around 2020 in March, April. I started learning and watching crypto, so that's another topic. I think I was here. So the previous bottom was in 2019, which looks somewhat similar but also different at the same time. And what I mean by that, it looks different because it's a lot bigger, and you can see here it was about 139 days. You can argue that let's say from here 135 days would be. So if we take this into consideration, and we had about I would say a halving in the bottom range. It halved the time of the bottom range, so we had 65 days here, and right now we had, how many days did we have? Let's check it really quick, and it's about 78 days. So it didn't follow through. This is why you shouldn't always follow mathematic patterns, and it also moved slightly. It went earlier, so that nobody would expect it to have such a front run. Now there is still a tiny chance that a drop will come here, but I think not. I think not. But if it would come, I'm already all in. So just a tiny bit. I want. Maybe I would this year even more if I have the chance, but I'm all in anyways. Right now, unless I get 1, 2, 3 more salaries, I don't have anything to buy right now. So yeah, we had it from 2nd of June when we entered the bottom range until the 20th of August, 20 August. So it's a very big change. Last time we had it in from November until January, was it? Yes. And before that, wait, let's go back. Not as much. So we had it, yeah, until January. And before that we had, now I understand why Cowan used to wait for the bottom range, the bigger bottom, the bigger drop, because in the previous cycle, so 2 cycles ago, we had the bottom starting from 19th of November until the 2nd of April. So it moves, the bottom moves, and it moved, so basically in the next cycle it ended about here, yeah, around here, and right now we should have it around July, was from July to from here, let's check it, around 20th of August. So we had the bottom here basically in this range where we had let's say a short rally here. So that's why everyone was caught off guard, and when you see this kind of stagnation and boredom on the market, a drop is coming. We are past that and we are past this, and now we should see somewhat of a boredom here, and I bet you that here everyone was waiting to see another drop and at least a correction or something, but we had stagnation and it went up. And of course here you would short, or here, or you know, somewhere here you would short, but then you would get nothing. And we had one more rally, it retested the channel and it went back up, and we had the correction. We had the correction 2 cycles ago. We had it here from 8,725 to 7,500, which for the sum it's a large drop, and then we had another rally. So you know, right now you don't, this is kind of strange. I think I wasn't in the market here, but this looks suspicious, looks very suspicious here. Anyway, it was a lot less money here, and it could be easily manipulated. So we had this interesting drop here, but it wasn't, you know, even the drop in 2020 was not lower than the bottom for some reason, which is kind of interesting to see. You know, you can observe things, but the things will not be the same, will not play the same in the next cycle. And you know, that was, you have to dive into psychology. And this one looks fake. This hill here looks fake. It went up and it just went back down. This looks like manipulation here, as well as this thing. I think if there wouldn't be manipulation on the market, we would have had it here, like staying in this range. We wouldn't have had the bottom range, and this time as well we had like this one looked like the bottom, but it wasn't, and like I think this is the real bottom. So what do you think, guys? Yeah, the bottom moves a lot, and the peaks, you know, we had one peak here, and we had the top in December of 2017. So basically the 4th quarter of the 4th year of the cycle of the whatever. And then we had 2 peaks here, April of 2021 and November. And we had a nice alt season there, but I didn't sell and I didn't have as much money in the market anyway. And here we didn't have an alt season. We had 2 half seasons, and we also had what would be similar to this, with like 2 hills. However, the slope between them was not as steep, and the second hill was like more stable than this one. This one was like it looks like a huge middle finger here. If you it's just my imagination. However, here it doesn't. It's more like a bigger, you know, bigger mountain than and more stable. Now it's going to be interesting what's next, and you know, most people will wait for a correction here, and I think they will still wait for a correction here, and we might have it from 97,000 to 88,000, and that would be probably here or here, nobody knows. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And let's check the Bitcoin domination chart. So we had this we had this drop, this huge drop when alts started appearing, and there was not as much money in the Bitcoin. So let's go to the market cap of Bitcoin and have a line. Can I zoom in? I cannot zoom in. Why? It's okay. So it was when this huge drop occurred was May 2017. Let's see, May of 2017. However, Bitcoin went up. Yeah, here. So even if it was a drop, Bitcoin went up. So it's when the market, I would say, started producing more coins, and more coins came on the market. And then you had this drop as well when the alt season went in, which is nice. So you don't have to follow the indicators mathematically. You have to look and think outside the box and follow sentiment and the news, as well as the indicators and the graphics as well. So it's a combination, and you have to keep an open mind when you check these things. And I think what the problem is, Cowan is too mathematically thinking. He has too much of a mathematical thinking, and he doesn't check the sentiment and he's an all-out Bitcoiner. It's not like, oh, we have AI, we have gaming things, we have things coming up, and of course domination will drop just by those things existing. And things don't really have to move in order for this to move. They just have to pop into existence. So this is overall how much money is in the Bitcoin. You understand it. And if 2-3 things start appearing, the domination will automatically go down, because there are money in the other things in the same market. So, and I think this starts becoming irrelevant, and it's a lagging indicator. However, I think you could say after periods of stagnation, you could check, it's a long period of stagnation, like you can see it right now, and it hasn't been so flat since here. So basically the domination wasn't as flat as it is now since the start of Bitcoin. So right now I think we might see something interesting. We might see the money either flowing into everything, but more into alts, or we would see them just going into alts and Bitcoin slowly going up, stagnating, and not really having a explosive rally. But something has to happen when you have this flat period. Of course, we might have it until here. We might have it until here, but it's the flattest period since 2016, basically, which is kind of interesting. I didn't notice until now. I just noticed now as I'm filming, and this area was also flat, but it had like those moves which were more aggressive. That's kind of interesting to observe, and I think the move should be done right now, and the money will probably flow into AI projects and utility projects, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin was the experiment, was the start, was the legend, and it is the legend, and it will be the legend. However, if you open a market, you put the money into cement, into building the foundation, but the products that you will sell there, they will be the the main they will do the main moves, the main, you know, they will make the money, not the flat area that you're building on. If it makes sense for you, my comparison, I just made it up, so, but I think you understand what I mean. And you know, if you're building a new market, which is crypto market, but let's compare it to a vegetable market like peasants market. So first you buy the land, which is, you know, the main investment, which, you know, it's Bitcoin main investment. And then you have to build shelves and bring in products, which the products are now altcoins. So that's my comparison. And you know, Bitcoin will be important for a very long time. However, its importance will diminish compared to the alts, but it will not die and it will not go down. It will just be less explosive. So everyone went, as you would say, everyone went in to build the market, but you know, after that they just went on home and just come by sometimes to buy vegetables. So I just compared the crypto market with the peasant vegetable market, if it makes sense. Yeah, just let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comment section. I'm crazy, or am I right? So, or am I both? You can be right and crazy at the same time. You can have a crazy idea that's right. So let's check the last chart, which is total 3. So excluding the ratio of total market cap, excluding the top 10 to Bitcoin. So on the weekly, it also looks very flat right now, and it looks similar to this period as well. And it's you know, the ratio is 0.12, and it also makes sense because you had a very low ratio here when was nothing on the market. It's basically like a reversal of not really. So the market cap of the alts, excluding the top 10, it dropped here to 0.063. So, and you know, some people, if they would think mathematically, they would have weighted it here for, you know, for more and more, but I think just by popping into existence, and you know, the things are popping into existence a lot on the downside of the market, and you have a lot of cheap coins basically entering the market, and you know, low caps coming in, especially now with Solana. And we had this thing here on the, I think this is the 10th of October. We are on weekly. Yeah, it's the week of October. So that's the 10th of October tail, but we won't take that into consideration. And even with even if we would take that into consideration, it would be a 0.076, which is above the previous one, above the previous bear market, about 2 bear markets ago. And here we didn't really have another bottom, and I think it just bottomed now, and we had this alt season. And you know, I think this indicator right now, it's rather very interesting. I didn't really see it until now. And if you check this flat stagnation period, which we also didn't have since here, now something should come, because we had this slow bleeding, and we didn't have another, which is kind of interesting, we didn't have here another lower low on this indicator. We had this at the bottom was 0.157, and at this current bottom, which we will not take into consideration, this where was you know, like a scammy something. We had it in June of 2025, and it was at 0.10. Yeah, with, not gonna read all the numbers. So I think something big is coming, actually. I think something really big is coming, but the question is when, and I think the answer is next year. I think we will have something interesting here. Will it be bigger than this? I'm not sure. Will it be the same? I would say maybe, with like a huge chance, but yeah. And if you check those indicators and you think with your own brain, usually after such a huge stagnation period and a slow bleeding period, something should come. Like something should really come, but that's that. And I would really like to hear your opinions in the comment section, positive or negative, doesn't matter. Just you can contradict me, but in the limits. Not you can argue with me. Maybe I am crazy or something like that, and you can agree with me also. But yeah, that's your own decision. But anyway, don't let anyone tell you what to do in the market. Just think with your own brain. See you at the next one, guys.